How do we expand each expression given below? So a plus b squared, that's easy. You should already know that becomes what? A squared plus ab, 2ab plus b squared, right? What do you do if it's cubed? Then you have to FOIL it from a plus b squared, which is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, where you have to multiply by a plus b again, and you distribute a squared to these two, a cubed plus b a squared, and so on, right? And if it's to the fourth, then you have to, after you're done with cubing, you have to multiply by a plus b again. So is there an easier way to do this? Yes. That is called binomial theorem. So this is the pattern. So if it's raising to 0 degrees, meaning what? It becomes 1. If it's 1, then it is just what? Y raised to 0 is 1, right? Anything raised to 0 is 1. So it just becomes x plus y. And from here, this, yeah, right here, when you do a plus y, you can write it in this term. So a is the first term and y is the second term. Then you start with the first term, and you raise it with the highest power, 2, and their sum must be equal to its degree, 2. And then for the first sum, you decrease it. It is x2, x1, and 0. What about y? Y goes backwards. So y2, 1, 0. And where are these coefficients are coming from? That's called the Pascal's triangle. I'm going to go over it in a second. So if I were to go over this pattern again, the first term you started with the highest power, 3, 2, 1, 0, which will be gone. And the second term, y, it's 3, 2, 1, 0, backwards. And 1, 3, 3, 1, where are these coming from, these coefficients? Those are called Pascal's triangle. So Pascal's triangle, you start with 3 ones, and then how do you go down? The first term is always 1, as well as the last. But how do you get these middle terms? When you add these two, it becomes the sum. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus 3 is 4, and so on, right? 20 plus 15 is 35, and usually we usually go maybe up to 8, not more than 8. And how can you find these on a calculator? These are same as the combinations. So this is what? This one is 3 choosing 0. This is 3 choosing 1, 3 choosing 2, and 3 choosing 3. So 3 choosing 3 will be always one option, right? There's only one output. And if you're choosing 0, it will be always one outcome as well. And if you want to do this, what you can do on the calculator rather than memorizing all this Pascal's triangle, when you go to your calculator, go to, let's say if you're doing the fifth one, okay, 5. Let's do, I said it's a combination, choosing, math, probability, and it's C. And you can put 0, enter, 1, enter. Or if you want to put a number of sets, you can use the second parentheses, curly brackets, and you can do 0, comma, 1, comma, 2, comma, 3, comma, 4, comma, 5, and close with the curly bracket. It's kind of hard to see, but curly bracket is like this. So if you're doing this, 5, choosing, curly bracket, 0, comma, 1. So I'm putting the number of sets. That's why I use the curly bracket. And when you press enter, it's going to give you this row. You see 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1, 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. And those become the coefficient of each term. So let's try an example. So again, the first and the last coefficients are always 1. And exponents is up to the degree, which if it's raised to 5, then they will always add up to 5. So again, here, if it's 5, they always add up to what? 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. And first term exponent decreases by 1, and the second term exponent increases by 1. and add previous two coefficients to equal the coefficients below. Those are the Pascal's triangle. So let's try this one. So this is 7. So the coefficient of the 7th power will be these. And it's nice and easy because it's just x and y. Later, they can ask you to raise 2x minus 5y to the 7th power. But here, let's start from the very basic. So here is the first term is what? x7. And please leave some spaces for the other terms and coefficients. And x6, right? The first term decreases by 1. x5 plus x4 plus x3 plus x2 plus x1 plus x0, which is 1, so I'm not going to write it. What about y? y7, y6, y5, y4, decreasing by 1, y3, y2, y1, y0, which is 1. What about the coefficients? I'm going to write in different color. So here it's 1, 7, 21, here, 35, 35, 21, 7, 1. And as you can see, usually it repeats. It's symmetrical. You see 7, 21, 35, 35, 6, 6, 15, 15, 20 in the middle. So now this one, you don't have to really evaluate it, right? There's nothing that you have to simplify or combine like terms. So that is your final answer. Okay? Let's do one more. See, now it's not just x and y, they have 2y, but you do the same thing. So for the first time, you start from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and x to the 0. So I'm gonna just not write it. So now make sure you put parentheses for the second term because when you distribute the power, it's not distributing to y, you have to distribute to the 2's too. So here 6 to y 5 to y 4 to y 3, and make sure they add up to 6. To y 2 to y 1 and 0. What about the coefficient for the 6 here? So it is 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, and 1. So now what do you have to do? You have to simplify them. So let's see. So the first term is x to the 6 plus y times x to the 5th times 2y. So it becomes what? 12 x 5th y. You have to multiply 6 and 2 plus this 2y squared becomes 4y squared, right? So 15 times 4 is 60 x to the 4th y squared. Here 2y cubed becomes 8y cubed. So 20 times 8 is 240 x cubed y cubed plus 2 to the 4th power is 16 y to the 4th, and I have 15. So what's 15 times 16? 15 times 16, I get 240. So it's 240 x squared y to the 4th. And here, what's 2 to the 5th? It's 32 y to the 5th, right? 2y raise it to the 5th power. So it's 32 times 6, which is 192. 6 times 32 is 192. So let me see if I can write it here. 192 x and y to the 5th plus 2 to the 6th, which is 64, plus 64 y to the 6th. It gets more complicated when you have negative terms, right? Then you have to think about the signs. But this wasn't too bad. Okay. Let's do one more. So first term is n to the 4th plus n cubed, n squared, n, and nothing, or 1 actually. And now I start from what? Negative 5. Make sure you put parentheses, okay? because it's n plus negative 5, right? To the fourth power. So 4, negative 5 to the third, negative 5 squared, negative 5 to the first power. And fourth power, what's the coefficient? It's 14641. So I get n to the fourth power plus. So negative 5, see, you should not write plus automatically now because with negative term, it's going to alternate because when negative raised to even becomes positive, but if it's odd, it's negative, positive, odd, raise it to odd power, it's negative, and again positive. So here it becomes 20 n cubed, and this becomes positive 25. So is it 25 times 6, 150? 150 n squared. And what's 5 cubed? Isn't it 125? 5 cubed. But it's negative 125. So negative 125 times 4 gives me 500. So minus 500. What? N. And it becomes plus 5 to the fourth power. 5 raised to 4 is 625. Yep, that's how you do it. So your homework tonight is to work on page 715, number 5 through 8. And please continue to work on the review. It's due on the 4th.